gamers, welcome back. Today we're breaking down the Ember Steel Toys deck. This deck is all about one thing, going wide with toy characters. It might look like a simple fast deck at first, but once you understand the synergies between cards like Grandmother Willow, Jessie, and Woody, you will see how quickly this deck can spiral out of control. In this video, I will walk you through every stage of playing this deck, from your early game options to the exact cards you need to win, which cards you should mulligan at the start of your game, and of course the deck strength and weaknesses. I will show you exactly what you need to know and why Woody Jungle Guide is one of the most important cards in this deck. Let's start with the early game, and in this deck, everything you do in the first few turns has one purpose: getting Woody Jungle Guide out as fast as possible. We're playing the following cards in our early game: Woody Waiting for a Friend, Illumineer, Rex, Pam, Grandmother Willow, Mowgli, Bullseye, Angel Siren Singer, Akut, and Woody Jungle Guide. Woody Waiting for a Friend is your best one-drop, not because of his stats, but because of the 5-cost Woody Jungle Guide. We want him on the board to play our shift on turn 3, which helps us add more characters onto the board. Illumineer is your other one-drop. She has support, which means whenever she quests, she can add her strength to another character until the end of the turn. With a lot of low strength characters in the deck, she can help you deal with opposing characters. Rex is your turn 2 bodyguard, meaning opponents must challenge him before they can go after your other characters. With 3 strength and 1 willpower, he won't survive many attacks, but he still protects your board by forcing your opponent to deal with him first. When he's banished during your opponent's turn, you also gain 1 lore. Ham helps you play characters earlier because when you exert him, the next character you play that turn will cost 1 less. Grandmother Willow is one of the most important cards in the deck. This 2-cost character helps you pay 1 ink less for the next character you play. This gives you a discount every turn, and when you play her, you can immediately play a 1-cost character for free. This helps you get Woody Jungle Guide on the board sooner when you can shift him in. Just remember, people will try to remove her, so be smart about when to exert her and when to keep her ready. Bullseye isn't spectacular for a 3-cost character with 4 strength and 3 willpower, but with Woody or Jessie on the board, you can play him for 2 ink instead, which makes his stats much more interesting. And as a 3-cost character, he can also sing songs like Strength of a Raging Fire and You've Got a Friend in Me. That flexibility is exactly what makes this card work. Angel Siren Singer is another 2-cost character. Her underdog ability means that if you're not the first player and this is the first turn, she can be played for 1 less. So when you're on a draw, Angel can come down for just 1 ink, giving you a character that can sing 3-cost songs for free. This helps you to sing Akut on turn 3 to play Woody Jungle Guide without needing to shift. Akut is a song that lets you draw a card and reduces the cost of your next character by 2 this turn. And now the centerpiece of this deck, Woody Jungle Guide. He costs 5 ink, shifts on turn 3, and has 1 strength and 5 willpower. When he quests, you draw a card and then you may play a character with cost 2 or less for free. This doesn't have to be the card you drew. You can choose a different card from your hand, helping you with card advantage and board development every time he quests. And with so many low-cost characters in the deck, this effect can trigger almost every turn. His second ability gives all your other toy characters plus 1 willpower, making your board much harder to remove. On top of that, he quests for 2 lore, which is great to get to 20 lore fast. In short, Woody is the reason this deck works so well. Now let's talk about what we do after getting Woody Jungle Guide on the board. The mid game is all about filling the board with characters and going wide. We want to draw cards, weaken our opponent, and start racing towards 20 lore. We're playing the following cards in our mid game: Jessie, Nani, Doc, Woody Leader of Toys, Angel Experiment 624, You've Got a Friend in Me, and Strength of a Raging Fire. Jessie is one of the most important cards in the entire deck. She turns every cheap play into an opportunity to weaken your opponent. Whenever you play a character for 2 ink or less, she gives -1 strength to an opposing character until the start of your next turn, making it much harder for your opponent to challenge your board. On top of that, whenever she quests, if you have 2 or more other toy characters in play, you may draw a card. She is both a control and draw engine at the same time. Nani helps you find more characters to play. When you play her, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can put a character with cost 2 or less in your hand, putting the rest on the bottom of the deck. With so many low characters in this deck, you're almost guaranteed to get one. Then we have Dog. This uninkable 2-drop is a card you don't want to play too early, because when he's played, you may discard your hand to draw 2 cards, which is great if you don't have any cards in hand, which is perfect in the mid-game when your hand is running low. Dog helps you find cards like Strength of Raging Fire, Nani, Angel right when you need them. Woody, Leader of the Toys, helps you find more characters just like Nani. When you play him, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put a toy character or Annie's room in your hand. This helps you fill your hand with follow-up plays. Angel Experiment 624 is a 4-cost character with 3 strength and 3 willpower. She helps remove small or important opposing characters you can't deal with normally, such as threats like Evasive. Once per turn, you may discard a card to deal 2 damage to a character, and if your hand is empty, she gains resist +2, making her much harder to remove. And then we have some songs. You've Got a Friend in Me is essentially the action version of Woody, Leader of the Toys. It lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and lets you put 2 toy characters in your hands, with the rest going to the bottom. With so many toys in the deck, this helps you find what you need. Then we have Strength of a Raging Fire, one of the removal cards of this deck. Because you spend much of the game building a whiteboard, it often deals 4, 5, or even more damage for just 3 ink. This lets you remove large threats while keeping your characters. In summary, the mid-game is where Jessie takes over the board and your board becomes too wide for your opponent to deal with. By the time you reach the late game, you've often already won, or you're very close to 20 lore. Your board is filled with characters generating lore, so you want to close the game as quickly as possible, since the longer it goes, the higher the chances your opponent can turn it around. Now, let's talk about mulligans. A strong opening hand can make all the difference. For this deck, the most important cards you are looking for is your 1-cost Woody and our 5-cost Shift Woody. I will walk you through 3 hands and share what I would keep. In our first hand, we're on the play, meaning we go first. We've got Ham, You've Got a Friend in Me, Woody Waiting for a Friend, Angel, another You've Got a Friend in Me, another 1-cost Woody, and Woody, Leader of the Toys. We already have our 1-drop Woody, which is great. What we're missing is Woody Jungle Guide, since we want to get him on the board on turn 3 by using his shift ability. In this hand, I would mulligan both copies of You've Got a Friend in Me, Woody, Leader of the Toys, 1 copy of Woody Waiting for a Friend, and Angel. The reason that we're sending back You've Got a Friend in Me is that we don't need it for our opening. It's a card we want later in the game, once our hand starts to run low and we need to refill. Our second hand already has our shift character, which is great. We're on the play again, and we've got Woody Jungle Guide, Strength of Raging Fire, Mowgli, Woody Waiting for a Friend, Angel, Akud, and Nani. This is actually a very strong hand. The only card I would mulligan here is Akud, since I'm looking for another card I can ink. In our last hand, we're on the draw. We've got Ham, Grandmother Willow, Doc, Jessie, You've Got a Friend in Me, and Angel. Since we're on the draw, we ideally like to find cards like Angel Siren Singer, Akud, and Woody Jungle Guide. In this matchup, Grandmother Willow is already in our opening hand, which is great for helping us play characters ahead of curve. Because of that, I would keep Grandmother Willow and mulligan the rest to increase our chances of drawing the cards we need. Now that you know which cards are in the deck and when they are played, we need to look at what Ember Amethyst does well and where it can struggle. The biggest strength of this deck is how quickly it can flood the board with characters. Grandmother Willow and Woody Jungle Guide allow you to play multiple characters per turn, while Jessie weakens your opponent's board at the same time. Strength of Raging Fire in combination with a whiteboard helps you remove powerful threats before they can challenge. This deck has strong synergy. Almost every card is either a toy, rewards you for playing cheap characters, or helps you find more cards to refill your hands. The first weakness is that your opening can be weak when you don't draw your 1 and 5 cost Woody. This slows down your board development and can leave you trying to go wide at the same time your opponent is starting to establish control. Board vibes are a real issue. Cards like Under the Sea combined with a -1 strength effect or Raging Storm can completely clear your board, which can be difficult to recover from. This deck also struggles when going second. You're often forced into a more aggressive way of playing, which isn't what this deck naturally wants to do. And that's everything you need to know about Ember Steel. Here is the full deck list. You will notice we run a lot of 2 and 3 cost characters. This works well with Woody Jungle Guide, who lets us play 2 cost or less characters for free. And Grandmother Willow helps us get more characters on the board earlier. This deck rewards knowing when to quest, and once the Woody Jessie engine is running, it is really fun to play in the current meta. Ember Steel has multiple variations, and if you want to experiment, there are several options to consider. For example, you could add a Raging Storm as a reset button, Stitch Carefree Server to draw a card each turn, Ohana Means Family for card draw after taking damage, Chief Powhatan for extra protection, or He Hurled His Thunderbolt to remove higher cost characters with a single song. In the end, they're all solid options. It just comes down to your personal playstyle and what is played in your local area. If you want to try this deck yourself, you can find the full list on Dreamborn. Just scan the QR code on the screen or check the link in the description. If you enjoyed this guide, hit the like button, subscribe for more Lorcana content, and let me know in the comments which deck you're playing currently and which you want to know more about. Until next time, bye!